You want a story? All right, here's one for you. I hadn't seen Karen's face in over 20 years, and honestly, I'd have been fine if that streak lasted a lifetime. But no life's got jokes. The very first thing I saw when I cracked open my gate that morning was her standing there, same old blonde bob sunglasses, too pricey for someone with that smug a grin. My stomach dropped so hard I thought I was about to find out what yesterday's breakfast looked like. Karen. The same Karen who once looked me dead in the eye and said, "Trust me," and then walked away with 20 grand of my life savings like it was just pocket change. Yeah, that happened. Now she's grinning at me like we're old college buddies bumping into each other at a farmer's market. John, she goes head tilted just enough to look friendly. If friendly meant, "I just peed on your new rug, aren't I adorable? Wow, I thought that was you." Small world, huh? And for a hot second, I just stared, honestly wondering if maybe I'd hit the age where your own personal ghost starts showing up in broad daylight. Of course, she had a clipboard. That was always her thing, the clipboard, like it made her important, or at least organized. "Karen," I said, voice flat as a pancake left on the counter overnight. She beamed. "You remember me?" Oh, I remembered all right. She chirped on, "God, you haven't changed at all." Right. I had changed, Karen. I'd aged 2 decades, lost my wife, built a house with my own 2 hands, and buried more dreams than I care to count. But sure, let's pretend I'm still that gullible idiot who once thought people like her just needed a little extra trust to find their better selves. She went on to explain, like she was doing me a favor, that she was now the president of the local HOA, Homeowners Association. You know, those people who turn every cul-de-sac into a kingdom. Her new development had sprouted up right next to my property. Cookie-cutter houses, lawns so perfect you'd think the grass was spray-painted drones dropping off soy candles or whatever. She said the HOA liked to keep an eye on the outer parcels, in case there's synergy. Synergy, my ass. There was my land and there was theirs, and a very legal, very real fence between us both, literally and metaphorically. "You should really consider joining us," she said, eyes darting around my yard. "Probably tallying up every weed for some future violation. You've got such a beautiful setup. The gazebo, the pond. It's practically a wedding venue." I just stared at her. "Oh, come on. Don't be like that." She nudged my arm. "I know things ended weird back then, but water under the bridge, right? You were always the hardest working guy at the firm." I looked her right in the eyes. "Yeah. Until you helped yourself to my life savings and vanished." Her smile froze just for a split second, but then she bounced back so fast you'd think she practiced in the mirror. "Oh, John, you still think that was my fault? That whole thing was a disaster. Believe me, I lost money too. We all did. Let's not rehash ancient history. You ever have a moment where you know you're not being paranoid, you're just being visited by the ghost of your own bad decisions? That was me. After that day, she started popping up everywhere. Wave here, just passing by there. Sometimes she brought muffins, always stale by the way. Sometimes she asked about my health, always with that weird, nosy undercurrent. Never concern. "How'd you afford this place?" she asked once, sipping my coffee like it was hers. "Did you ever remarry? What was her name? Erica? Emma? Emily?" I said, barely moving my jaw. "Oh, right." She beamed. "Sorry it didn't work out, but look at you now. Landowner survivor. You bounced back." I just watched the wind blow over the pond, pretending her voice was part of the weather. Eventually, I'd had enough. "You don't need to come here anymore," I told her. "I'm not interested in the HOA. I'm not interested in whatever angle you're working this time." Her smile twitched. "Well, sorry to bother you. Just trying to be neighborly." She walked off, but there was a glint in her eye that said this wasn't over. Let me back up a sec. 20 years ago, I was a different man. Naive, hopeful, one of those guys who believed loyalty meant something in business and people like Karen just needed a little trust. I worked as a mid-level marketing analyst at a small Denver firm. Long hours, low pay, but I was all in. Karen came from the San Francisco office. Tailored suit, fake laugh charisma on full blast. People noticed her, including me. At first we clicked. She was sharp, ambitious, had a knack for talking folks into things. One night at a bar, she pitched me this plan. Her brother's startup predictive retail data ground floor, double your money in 6 months, no red tape. I asked questions. She had answers. She even claimed she'd put in 10 grand herself. That's what did it. I handed her a check for $20,000, all my house savings. You won't regret this, John. I promise. That's what she said. A week later, she's out of the office for meetings. By the end of the month, she's gone. No forwarding address, no phone, nothing. The website, dead. The startup, vapor. The cops shrugged. The bank records were all I had. I spiraled. Emily left. The money was gone, my future with it. I ended up couch surfing, doing odd jobs, even slept in my car a while. Rock bottom's quieter than you'd think. But out of that mess, I found grit. I started working construction, learned how to build and fix $1 at a time. 15 years later, I bought my land cash. Every nail I hammered into my new home I did with her memory hanging right there over my shoulder. So when she popped up again, I didn't feel rage. I felt focus. 3 days after I told her to stay gone, she came back. This time dressed like she was selling luxury condos, holding a wedding invitation. John, I know you said you needed space, but this is important. My son's getting married. The venue burned down. The wedding's in 2 days. She gave me that look like I was the only man in the world who could save her. Your property is gorgeous, John. Just one day. I'll take care of everything. No, I said. Her smile faltered. Wait, what do you mean, no? Not even for a day. No, I said again. You want 200 strangers on my lawn because it's convenient for you. I told you don't come here again. Now her smile was gone. You're seriously saying no after everything, especially after everything. I thought that would be the end of it. I had to drive to Nebraska for a job land rights meeting, just a day trip. But the meeting drag turned into 2 days. Saturday evening, lying in a motel bed, my phone starts buzzing. Security alerts. Cameras flashing my property. I pull up the feed. There's a full-blown wedding. Tense lights, buffet tables, kids running music, blaring, strangers everywhere. Right there in my gazebo, Karen in a champagne dress, microphone in hand, toasting her son's happiness. I tried calling her straight to voicemail. The sheriff wouldn't act since I was out of state. I watched the rest unfold like a horror live stream. Wine on the dock. A kid fell in the pond. Someone set a generator on fire. A groomsman pissed behind my tool shed. When I got back, the damage was worse than any footage. Trash everywhere. Cigarettes in the garden. Cracked railings, a camera in my pond. And as the cherry on top, a just married banner hanging from my old oak tree. That afternoon, Karen showed up. No shame, just smug as ever. Turned out lovely, didn't it? I didn't answer. She walked right past me. We cleaned up most of it. It was just one day, John. Don't be so selfish. And that's when it clicked. Karen wasn't sorry. Never was. She thought she'd won. Next morning, I filed a police report. The deputy watched my footage, nodded. No agreement. That's trespassing. But then Karen rolled into the station with her lawyer's shark smile $1,000 tie. We're family friends, she told the deputy. He didn't object. Casual agreement. 2 days later, the sheriff's office calls me. Conflicting testimony. No criminal charges right now, but you can pursue civil action. Translation, if I wanted justice, I'd have to pay for it myself. That's when I called Christine Martin, a civil litigator, sharp as a tack and, funny enough, a former friend of Karen's. I never trusted her, Christine said, scanning my documents. She sharpens her smile before stabbing someone. She did some digging. Turns out Karen's maiden name is Wilson. Her Aunt Dorothy owned land around here decades ago. Suddenly, I get a letter from the HOA. Possible unresolved legacy ties to the Wilson family estate. Karen shows up with documents claiming my property is shared ground courtesy of some family clause in her aunt's will. Christine flipped through the papers. This is fake. Wrong font, wrong seal, signatures copied. We sent it for forensic analysis and dug up real county records. Meanwhile, Karen starts spreading rumors I'm unstable, that I'd promised her the land and now I was extorting her. Eggs showed up on my fence and a Facebook post called me a monster for suing a generous woman. Christine just smiled. Let them talk. They're digging their own hole. When the forensic report came back inauthentic, forged, digitally manipulated, I felt something colder than joy. Justice may be finally rolling up its sleeves. Christine put together a case file that would make your head spin: trespassing, property damage, fraud, attempted land grab, and thanks to some invoices from the wedding vendors, proof that Karen had pocketed nearly 20 grand by renting out my property behind my back. We filed a civil lawsuit, served her during an HOA meeting. She told everyone she inherited the land, charged the groom's family a venue fee, faked addresses, the works. Next, she tried to sic code enforcement on me. 2 guys showed up with a list of anonymous complaints. Christine and I marched them around the property with every permit and receipt. They left laughing, wished more folks did things by the book. Then the IRS sent Christine a letter. Anonymous tip, undeclared income, possible tax evasion. Turns out Karen's greed didn't stop with me. In court, Christine was a force of nature. The judge wasn't buying any of Karen's drama. We showed security footage, the forged will, vendor receipts, even Instagram stories of Karen on my gazebo bragging about her venue. Christine read the IRS notice out loud. When it was over, the judge found in my favor 75 grand in damages restitution and a referral for criminal investigation on the forgery. Karen looked like she'd been hit by a freight train. Her reign as HOA president over that afternoon. I didn't celebrate. Justice sometimes isn't fireworks. It's just the quiet sound of a gavel, the sense that for once no one is above the line they tried to step over. 3 months went by. I left the faint burn mark on my gazebo rail as a reminder. Karen word was, she took a plea deal, jail time off the board, off my back. Her downfall did more than just end a problem, it opened a door. Christine started stopping by, first with case files, then with gardening tips, then just to talk. Over time, talking turned into something else. We got married under that same oak tree, the one Karen once tried to claim. This time, the banner was ours. Some neighbors came. Even the florist brought a bouquet just because. The new HOA president handed me a bottle of whiskey. Guess it's your venue now. As the sun went down, fairy lights glowed around the gazebo, Christine's idea. Closure, she said. Maybe that's what winning really is. Not revenge, not even justice, just getting your peace back and maybe something better in the end. So tell me, where do you draw the line between forgiveness and letting someone walk all over you? Have you ever had to fight for what's yours? Let me know below. I'm curious where you'd stand.